So DigiDiff can be as complicated or as easy as you'd like it to be, depending on the level of customizability you're looking for. Now for this first clip, I have a simple segment of a music video, a performance shot here, and I'm gonna go ahead and select a frame that I'd like to use as kind of my hero frame. I'm gonna select my DigiDiff node. I already have it set up with my input gamma, and I'm gonna go ahead and just select a preset. I'm gonna go with Glimmer Glass, and you can immediately see what it's doing to the image here. Now, since we're using DigiDiff at the start of our node graph, all of the color adjustments, contrast adjustments, exposure adjustments, grain, halation, anything we'll add downstream is applied on top of the diffusion, which is what would happen if you were to shoot on set with a physical optical diffusion filter. You're baking that look into the digital negative, and then you're processing on top of that. So placing DigiDiff first in your node pipeline emulates that workflow. So as you can see here, I have a bit of grain applied to my grade, and it's being applied on top of the fusion, which just helps kind of mesh it all together and feel like the diffusion is a part of the image rather than an effect we're adding after we've shot. So back to these initial parameters here. For a lot of people, these might be the main two parameters that you need to adjust. You have your overall strength, where you can dial up the strength, and you have your overall size, where you can tighten the diffusion or make it more broad. With just these two parameters, you can achieve a variety of looks. And for most of what, honestly, I do, I usually play 90% of the time within this section here. Now, it's worth noting that all of these presets have been modeled and designed based on their real world counterpart. So whenever you select Glimmer Glass, this has been modeled based off kind of an average of what a Glimmer Glass filter would actually look like in a real world scenario. Whenever you start adjusting the size and the overall strength, you're kind of deviating from that in a sense. But the same core is there, the same kind of DNA of that particular piece of diffusion remains. We've had some people ask for the ability to dial in exact filter strengths. While we're looking into doing that, we also want to take advantage of the digital medium. So being a plugin and having complete control to us is important. So being able to kind of unlock yourself from these presets is one of the strengths of DigiDiff in our opinion. So again, dialing in overall size and strength can get you most of the way there. So for example, for this shot here, I'm going to make it a subtle look, but something that you can still feel. So you can see here, you get a nice bit of diffusion around the shoulder of our talent. And whenever we pop out here, you can see it here as well. And again, sometimes you don't even really notice it until you turn it on and off, which to me is exactly what you want. You don't want it to kind of stick out. You want it to feel a part of the image. So moving on to our second clip here, where we can demonstrate some of the basic use cases of DigiDiff. We just have a commercial shot here with a group of people taking a selfie with a drink in their hand. So again, I'm gonna select my DigiDiff node, and I already have it set up to my input gamma. And then for this shot, I'm gonna choose a softnet black, which is a really tight, strong level of diffusion. Kind of feels dreamy and glowy. It's a bit too strong for my taste as it is out of the box. So what I'm going to do is just drop the overall strength to where we feel it, but it's not in your face, you know? So I might actually tighten it up a bit and increase the strength. On and off it. You see on the shoulder here, a bit of bloom. For some people, this might be a bit too strong. You can continue to dial it in. You see it on the arm of our talent here if I on off it. And just like that, you have a nice level of diffusion added to your shot with nothing but about 3 clicks here. So for this next shot, I want to demonstrate one of the cool things about using DigiDiff within Resolve is that you can combine it with power windows. So for this shot here, what I want to do is create a kind of glowy diffusion from this window, but I want to constrain that to only this window. So one of the cool things about using DigiDiff within Resolve is you can create a power window around the window in the scene. I'm going to add a bit of a soft outside edge. I'm going to go within my DigiDiff plugin. I'm going to go ahead and select pearlescent, just quite strong. Dial it back, maybe bring it in a bit in size. I might even increase the size of this window a bit. And just like that, I've added some slight diffusion to this window, but it's constrained thanks to the power window. So this is something you wouldn't be able to do, of course, in reality with using a physical filter. So this is just an added level of control you have by bringing in the diffusion process into post.